Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me here today. Just getting ready to go to the gym here in a little bit. Bust out here through this rain. We had one day of sunshine and now it's raining all day again. But we got cold weather coming and that's really what I want to see before I go back to the tropics. Yeah, I know I'm weird. People are all over. Everybody that I talk to from this part of the country, they're loving having warmer temperatures for a while. But me, I got hot all the time, so I want a little bit of cold for something different. Oh, we're second to the last day of the year, so I'm sure everybody's starting to think about their resolutions and all the, new programs and jumping off to a good start and being good in the new year and not doing the things you did and everything's going to be totally different. And that's great. It's always great to strive to improve yourself. But while you're thinking about your resolutions, I just wanted to lay a few thoughts down on you and give you something to think about a little bit. People tend to go, it's like they want to go they want to go far. They want to go to the absolute top. And, sometimes people set unrealistic expectations for themselves. Sometimes people put too much pressure on themselves. All I'm kind of maybe suggesting, and maybe or maybe not, maybe this works for you, maybe it not, is to be more consistent with your raw vegan lifestyle in 2016, or your high carb vegan lifestyle, or what it is that you are whatever program path you're trying to stay on. Now, when I say be consistent with it, I'm not saying being perfect. None of us are perfect. You're not going to be perfect 100% of the time. But what I'm kind of trying to offer a little bit here today with my thought process is just a few tips to be more consistent. And one thing that I think will help with the consistency is taking out the extremes on both sides. I think if maybe you would stop, and there's just too much of a purity theme going around the raw vegan world right now about how pure everybody is and going to the highest level. And as I say over and over and over, I see a lot of people that, in my humble opinion, are not ready for what they're trying to do. Because if you're ready for what you're trying to do, food-wise, you're not going to have that big of a problem with it. If you're really struggling to what you're trying to do, you might want to back off and go back through some steps, do a little transition, ease off a little bit, and work towards where you want to get. Because I think if you would stop doing the absolute extreme version of things that you're not ready for, and I'm not saying that some people are ready for that and some people can do that, but that might prevent the other side, the extreme, falling off the wagon. What I see is just so many people going back and forth, and even sometimes I know their words, they're probably a little embarrassed, their words come back to haunt them. They do their juice fast, their juice feast, and they get all clean for a while and they're rolling for a month, 2 months. They're telling everybody else raw is law, it's all about this, don't eat that, don't eat this. And then comes the big moment. And they come to you and they tell you something, oh, well, I've fallen off and I've done this and that. And they tell you something that they have eaten. And not to be judgmental, but you're kind of like, really? The way you were preaching that purity just like 5 minutes ago, and you ate what? Point being, extremes in either way. Try to take a little bit more of that middle path and just stay consistent all the time. I think we have to try something for a while, and I mean, I don't mean try it, but like experiment with it and be consistent with a certain way of doing things for a while to be able to know whether it works or not. You can't know if something you're doing generally is going to work in a couple or 3 weeks. And so many people are changing their program radically all the time. I mean, I go back and I think of some of the things I was getting ready, to talk about the resolutions in 2015. And I think about some of the people and just in general trends and things I've seen in groups and comments and what have you. And it just seems like it's an up and down for people, they're always either really, really high or really low. And I like to just keep on plugging along. And that's what I really want to focus on in 2016 is just, just keep pushing forward a little bit cleaner, a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, a little bit better. instead of making these big proclamations and doing this and doing that. Although I will tell you something that I'm dabbling with the idea about. I was just telling this to a friend a few minutes ago, or actually I was talking to him in Messenger, and I said, you know what? I'm always that guy. And I've talked to you before. I've written sports betting, and I'm a contrarian. You can go look that up. When most people zig, I like to zag. Now, you know I'm not all about that whole purity, oh, you have to be raw as law. But now that I hear people starting to say that you can't be fully raw, that just sticks in my craw a little bit. So while a lot of people are saying, well, can't be fully raw, I think I'm going to start eating cooked food, which is totally fine. I don't see why anybody needs to ever come out and make some pronouncement that they're going to eat cooked food. Eat cooked food, eat raw food. But I don't like it necessarily being said, well, you can't do it. And I'm really dabbling hard with the idea. Now, I'm not going to go out on a huge limb just to make a point, but I'm pretty much thinking as I'm sitting here, and this will be 3 months in the future, that the next trip to the States, I'm going to stay raw. I'm going to stay raw just to do it, just for shits and giggles. It's a little bit tougher here, and I'm a little bit lazy here. But if I wasn't lazy, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could do it. Wouldn't be as fun because, you know, I'd have to lean super, super heavy on bananas. I've had bananas, I've had oranges, but mostly bananas. But anyhow, that's a little off the subject. But yeah, so, you know, to wrap this one up, I would just say, like, aspire to be consistent in 2016. Aspire to be consistent with your health. Now I'm saying raw vegan consistency, but this is just, you know, you know how I am on this channel. I'm not judgmental, and I'm not telling you need to be this, you need to be that. I would just say be, and it's also for mental peace too. When we succeed at things, or when we stick to our plans, it's psychologically pleasing to us. So you're going to have less emotional ups and downs too if you just ride that even keel instead of going up and down and up and down and up and down all year long. Now the question's going to be, we have these conversations, it's almost like, you know, sometimes my mind functions in a different way that I have to watch myself so people don't think, God, what an asshole. But when things are just like cliche over and over and over, it's like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the same things are said in the same situations at the same times every year. Like you can think back 10 years and you've heard the same thing over and over. Why don't you get off the wheel? Why don't you get off the wheel and make 2016 different? Because if it didn't work, whatever you were doing in 2015, if it didn't work, change it up. Use a new approach. Don't keep doing the same old and expect something different to happen. Anyhow, just a few end of the year thoughts. Get a little introspective around the end of the year, even though it's just the end of the calendar year. Listen, as much as I even talk about that, how we shouldn't be a slave to a calendar, we do. We've grew up in a culture where we look at a calendar, and I tend to have the same kind of thinking too. So let's make it a good one. Let's make 2016 a good one. Hope you guys like this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and hope you're having a good week. And I hope you got big plans tomorrow night, or if not, stay home with your loved ones, but take care of yourself. Peace.